Hello beautiful people of the world and welcome to a new PD tutorial. In the last video we learned how to use wireless connections with the send and receive objects. We also have send and receive objects for audio signals too, and they work in a very similar way. So let's say we have an oscillator and we want to send this signal to a different portion of the patch or to a sub-patch, but we don't want to have cables going around. So we can use the send object and of course we have to use the tilde because it's an audio signal, and of course we can use the short version of the name. So we could use the S tilde or the send tilde, it's the same object. We need a creation argument here too, because we need a label. And of course we have the corresponding receive object for audio signals. And again, same thing, we can use the short version of the name or we can use the full name. It's the same thing. And of course we need to use the same label we use for the send object. Now, as you notice, we have an inlet for the receive object. And if we check the help, we can see that we can set a different label via messages. And the syntax for the messages is set, which is the command that we're used to change the label, followed by the label that we want to change, of course. And this is useful because maybe we want to switch during the execution of the patch between different sources, so we can use the same receive object for different send objects. So I can set the frequency here, and we are receiving the signal wirelessly. Now, there are two things to consider. You can have multiple receive objects receiving signal from one send object that have the same label, the same creation argument, but you cannot have multiple send objects sending signal to one specific receive object. So this is something that you have to remember very well. So as you can see, I've set up two oscillators with two different frequencies, but I'm using two send objects with the same label. And if I now open the PD window, it says warning oscillator multiply defined, because basically we cannot use this. This is something that you cannot do. And if I turn up the volume, and if I change the frequency for the second oscillator, you can see nothing happens because, again, you cannot use multiple send objects with the same label to one receive object. So let's get rid of this. Now, there is also one thing that you have to consider. These objects introduce a few milliseconds delay between the moment that the audio signal is sent to the moment that the signal is received. So to avoid this, you can use two other objects that have the same function, they work in the same way, but they have different names. And so for the corresponding send object, you have the throw object, and for the receive object, you have the catch object. Now they work in the same way, they have the same function, but they don't introduce this little delay. And another thing, there are no short names for the throw and catch objects. So you have to write the full name into the objects, but basically work in the very same way, and same rules apply. Okay, so that's it. I hope that also this tutorial was useful to you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!